Hi guys, thanks for coming back to the channel. My name is Liz. I'm a part-time reseller in Maryland, and today's video is pretty much designed to help you do a better job shopping flea markets. I was a little bit out of the loop the last few days because I took a trip up to help my dad out up in New England. He's 83 and he's been shopping flea markets and other sources that we all love for about 50 years. And I realized that he really enjoys and is quite successful at shopping flea markets. And I actually have not had as much success. I do well at yard sales and estate sales and thrift stores. And so I decided to, with my dad's help, assemble a list of flea market tips that come from years and years of experience so that you guys could hopefully be more successful than I am at flea markets. So I did want to mention that the footage is a little bit different. It was a low turnout that day, very windy, and the field is a little bit, it's a little bit rough terrain. So it's not my favorite footage, but I'm hoping that the content will still be helpful to you the next time you go to a flea market. So please do hit that like and subscribe button. Be forgiving about the quality of the footage this time around. It was a little bit tricky and it was my first time at that flea market filming with my phone. So I'm looking forward to a better setup like a GoPro or something like that. But yeah, please do hit the like and subscribe button. You know it helps me, it helps the channel. It's encouraging to someone starting out at something new to have that engagement from you guys. Leave a comment if you have other tips that you want to share with all of us. We might as well have a good time out there, help each other out. If we're not having a good time, we better make some money. But my best advice is to never stop searching and never stop searching for new ways to try to do things. If what you're doing isn't working, then try something different next time. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video and I will see you guys soon. Okay guys, so to start off our flea market tips, you'll see some fun camera work in this particular video because I was trying to be sensitive to the other shoppers and dealers and stuff. So brace yourself for some of that. You got a quick view of my dad for a second. So here we are waiting in line. The first tip is to arrive early. We actually could have arrived a little earlier. You can see how long the line is. It's better to wait at the front of the line than at the back. You're going to get onto the field first and you will have the best selection of items, and that's what you want. The other thing you want to consider is being prepared, right? You need to be physically prepared. You don't want to show up having to use a restroom. You don't want to show up hungry or thirsty, so take care of those things before you get there. Carry a small bottle of water and a snack if you have to. You might be a marathon shopper. You might need that. You want to have an assortment of smaller bills. You don't want to have all hundreds or all 20s. You will waste time making change and it might stress somebody out and you might even ruin a negotiation. If you say you don't want to pay $100 for something but you hand them a $100 bill, that always feels weird. I don't know why. So if they give you a deal, try to give them as close to exact change as you can. The other thing I would always recommend is either a crossbody tote bag or a shoulder bag if you prefer, and some people like the carts. You don't want to have your hands occupied because you want both hands to shop. Now you can see I only have one hand to shop here as I'm picking through these things, and it actually made it a little bit tricky for me, but I was filming. I don't have a GoPro set up yet, a chest mount. So I'm picking through these things, enjoying myself, but if I had had my hands free, it would have been even better. So yes, you want to arrive early for the best selection and you want to be prepared. Once you're on the field, of course you're going to be looking at items, but you want to look at the dealers. I recommend kind of scanning the field, and if you see that a dealer is just arriving, maybe they're arriving a little bit late, maybe they look a little disorganized, maybe their booth or space a little bit messy, I think that I get better deals with those types of dealers. If someone has everything laid out perfectly on tablecloths that match, they probably have been meticulous in investigating or researching everything they have, and you're unlikely to find a treasure at a good price, in my opinion. I'm sure it does happen. Maybe you're one of those dealers and you object to that, but in my experience, in my personal experience, I've had a little more luck when there are boxes of stuff that seem to be mixed together and stuff. Anyway, the other thing you want to look for in a dealer is someone who's friendly. If you have to choose between two disorganized dealers with a lot of stuff thrown around, pick the nicer one. There's no reason to make your life miserable with a dealer who wants to make your life miserable. The friendlier dealer will be more enjoyable and also probably more likely to give you a nice deal. Once you start looking at items, there are things you should and maybe should not consider. Of course, things will catch your eye. You're going to see items that are so cool. They're so awesome. You know, you feel like you have to save them. They've lived this long. It is not your job to build a museum. It is not your job to save these items. It is your job to find items that will pay you well for your time. I have been guilty of saving items that didn't pay me for my time. I don't recommend that. I looked at this Pyrex. It had condition issues from the dishwasher. You've got to look at condition. You've got to make sure that things are in good condition. There are no returns at the flea market. So check them out and think, this is a really cool wooden carving, but you know what? I have some of those and they don't sell. Think about sellability. Don't think about making a museum or if something's neat. Think about, can I sell this and make a profit? Because that's your job, unless you want to keep the item, which brings me to my next tip. Buy stuff that you like because you might have to live with it for a while. Buy stuff that you don't mind sitting in your death pile or becoming a collector of, for example. I always try to buy jewelry, which I'll show you later today. I got a few pairs of earrings that I would keep for myself because I might end up actually keeping it. We don't all have a home run. So some of this camera work will be a little wonky. I apologize. I was trying to be respectful of the general population. The booths that I closely shopped, I did ask permission. Some people are sensitive to that. My understanding is that legally you don't have to do that because it's sort of like a body cam. But if I'm doing a close shopping, I try to do that. But you'll see some of the field, the literal grass, more than I would like. It was a little tough navigating this terrain as well. All right, so we talked about being prepared, arriving early, choosing dealers, and we're talking a little bit about choosing items, right? So you want to, is it a rare item? Is it a lucrative item? Is it in good condition? Does it have the original box? All of those things. Let's say you wanted to buy this brass bowl. I didn't want to buy this one. It was too light. I think it was modern. But if you did, and you asked what the price was, make sure they give you a price. It's not your job to price their items. What do you want to give me for it? You don't have to answer that. You can say, oh, sir, ma'am, I prefer not to price other people's items. I think that's polite. Wait. Hold your breath if you have to. Count to 20. If you have to prompt them, can you just throw a number at me? They'll throw a number at you. Let's say they say 40 bucks and you wanted to pay less than that. You wanted to pay 30. Offer them 20. Go a little bit lower in a very kind and respectful voice than what you want, because then they'll say, let's meet halfway. That's always a nice negotiating phrase, I think. And so, yeah, those are a couple tips, you know. Go a little tiny bit lower than the price you want, so when you meet halfway, you can meet really where you want it to be. It's always okay to ask if they have some wiggle room. Now, I really liked the booth of this seller. I didn't personally know him. I think my dad does know him. He was super friendly. He came right over. He wanted to show me stuff, and he wanted to chit-chat. You know, it all happened, you know, spontaneously, so I didn't want to include all that conversation because I wanted to stick to our tips. You can cultivate relationships with dealers. Some of them you might not want to, but if they're friendly and they're open to negotiation, do that. Make a bundle, make a friend, because next week Joe will give you a good deal. He knows you're coming back next week. So this next thing was fun. I was looking at some of the art here. This was pretty cute, but I was very far away from home and flying back, so I decided not to get this, I think it's a Wallace nutting. It didn't have the glass. It had some water damage. So I didn't get the art, but I was enjoying looking at it. And this dealer was friendly enough that he decided to show me a piece, a neat piece, kind of psychedelic, which you'll see in a second. So yeah, cultivating a relationship opens up better negotiation and will help you with the flea market. So wait till you see this piece that he's got. It's really, really cool. I was admiring this one and the colors. It was actually quite well done, although probably relatively amateur. Again, how was I getting that home safely? I wasn't sure. I don't think it was a famous artist. And the dealer came over and wanted to show me a piece. And that's how we'll end this segment. So, yeah, look at the colors. And I don't know what's going on here, but it's amazing. Look at the dragon. So I wanted to give you guys a mini haul of what I bought at the flea market where I got the footage up in New England. And I did not buy a lot, and that is okay. I probably followed my own rules, but also there was a very small turnout based on the weather. The threat of rain was around for like the whole day, and it was actually super windy. So I bought things I liked that I would be willing to keep, and I also do still think that I could get a profit if I decide I do want to sell them. So I got this little pin, which I initially thought was an actual military pin for some reason, but it actually is like a military, like a wartime propaganda pin. There was a film by this name right around World War I era, and they gave out, I guess it was a silent film, they gave out pins like this. This is the name of the film. So it's related to the military and war, but also to that film. And I thought that was really neat. So I paid a few dollars for that. I think they sell for about $20 online. And that has like sort of it has two different groups of collectors, right? So like maybe people who are interested in military stuff, and then people who are interested in film stuff. And I suppose pin collectors, if that's a thing all by itself, which it probably is. And then the jewelry people might really like the pieces I got. I think I totally would wear these, and I might wear them. They kind of match my nail polish. I think this is Sodalite, these stones in these sterling earrings, and I just thought they were different. You know, they have sort of this upside down teardrop shape. They have the oval cabochons, I believe is how you say that type of rounded top stone. And then they have that sort of Maltese cross shape. So I really liked those for me or to resell. I did pay $20 for those. Savvy dealer knows her stuff, but I do think I could get more than 65 online, and I might not sell them at all. They might just be a gift for myself. And then these remind me of like the 80s and 90s, that kind of studio type jewelry. You've got these brass and I believe sterling pieces, and they're joined together with pieces of wire. So they have they're kind of dynamic. They have some movement. I don't think this is real amethyst, but you have these amethyst colored cabochons that are probably glass. So I thought those were pretty neat. I didn't see a signature, but I do like the stamping they have here on the sterling portion. So I think I paid $15 for those, and those will probably sell online for about $65 if I decide not to keep those. So I kept the haul small, followed my own advice, and didn't end up with too much more to add to the death pile. So that was good, but I did want to share those with you guys. So anyway. Thank you so much for visiting the channel again today, guys. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you found some kernels of wisdom here from me and my dad for your next flea market adventure. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave me a comment if something really rang true for you or you have your own tip to share, and I will see you guys next time. But just remember, please always have fun out there, always pay yourself for your time, and never stop searching.